Hello, my lovely edge dwellers. Lucca here, Power Sorcerer. This is episode 33 of Ask Lucca Live on October the 31st, and it happens to be a blue moon today, a full blue moon, or a blue full moon, however you want to say it. So I'm on here a few minutes early just so that we can start gathering people together. And then we'll start, if you're coming to this in the recording, we'll start at about 2 minutes in. And then you'll get the real thing, and you can skip the gathering together of the folks live today. So hi, Denise. So I try to greet people as you arrive. I don't always see them fast enough, especially if you come in after I've started, but this is all good. So you're our first person today, Denise. And I have a question for you today. Well, I have an answer for you today, I hope. So we're all set to start. And as you can probably tell by the light in here, it's a sunny day in Vancouver today, which for the end of October is not always the norm. So we have a second person arrived, which is great. Wonderful. I'm going to pull a card today from my Truth Bomb deck from Danielle Laporte. I like to just pull a card and then see what we have to play with, to work with. So this one says, this is my little cards here. I keep holding it up to the screen, but it shows up on Facebook. It shows up backwards. So I'll just read it to you. It says, inner attunement over outer attainment. So I guess this is the time to go inwards. So I'll set it to the side here and we can come back to it at the end. So now we have 3 people. That's good. We're moving right along here. So we have just another minute or so to collect folks together, and then I'll go ahead and get started. I'm just having a look at my clock to see what time it is. So I'm just going to give it another minute or 2. I think people are running a little behind today. It's Halloween here. And it's going to be a very weird Halloween because I'm not sure what the kiddies are doing about trick-or-treating this year. Because it's, I don't want to be spreading COVID. There were people online making suggestions about creating little chutes that you can put the candy in and send it down the chute into the little kids' bags. We're getting ingenious in terms of dealing with this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started because we've got quite a few questions today, and I want to make sure that I have time to get them all in. So if you have fast forwarded, I'm Lucca, Power Sorcerer, and this is episode 33 of Ask Lucca Live on October the 31st. I can't believe we're at 33 episodes already. It's kind of mind-boggling. So here's our first question today. It's from Anne and Kristen, and she says, I have had, so wait a minute, before I get started, I'm skipping what I normally say here, which is, hi Trudy, your gut feel about what's right for you is more important than anything anybody can tell you, and that includes me, so never give your power away to anybody else. And in the Ask Lucca Live group, I have pinned to the top of all the posts a little blurb about what to keep in mind while I'm doing a reading. So if you're new to the group and you haven't read that yet, or even if you've been around since the beginning and you want to just have a little reminder, I encourage you to have a look at that. It just tells you what to keep in mind. Also, at the end of the session today, I'll spend about 5 to 10 minutes talking a little bit, depending on how many people are here, talking a little bit about the services I offer and how you can get hold of me and have a chat with me. So I don't put that at the beginning because many of you have already worked with me or already know all of this and don't need to hear it. So you can expect that at the end. And also I'll take the questions that I have in my roster. If I get through them faster, then I'll have room to take some questions online here. And if I don't get through all of them, then I take the ones that I haven't got through and I put them at the top of the list for next week. So now I can come back and answer Anne Kristins' question, which is, I have these lesions on my skin for a while and some are growing. Is this something I should get checked out? Can the guides tell me something about what it is? So I've had a lot of people ask questions like that. It seems to be also, it's something I think probably environmental, but let's have a look and see what the guides have to say. Hi, Yvette. So when I do little nods with my head and little shakes, that's I'm using my body as a pendulum. So I'm getting hi, Anne. I'm getting yeses and nos through my body. So that's what that is. It's not just a weird tick, as I say to people all the time. Okay, the things on your skin, and Kristen. Do you need to worry about it? No. Are there things that can be done about it? Yes. Some of them are bigger than you're going to be able to control from where you are right now. So one of them is environmental. So it's things like what do you have in your house that's off-gassing? What cleaning supplies are you using? Are there any perfumes? Perfumes are a big one. All the things that have fragrance in them. That's one that hides a lot of chemicals, and fragrance is something Beauty Counter tells you about this, which is a company here in North America that sells beauty products and soaps and shampoos and all of that kind of stuff that is free of all the toxins that we normally have to deal with. But you can't always get your hands on that kind of thing. So things that are homemade are going to be better for you because they don't have all of the preservatives and perfumes in them. The perfumes hide a lot of chemicals because it's proprietary. So they don't have to reveal what's in it. Some of it is foods. So any foods that you can eat that are, it's especially preservatives for you. Really, so, things that come in cans and jars, unless they've been home canned, they tend to have them. And the best way for you, yeah, they're tapping me on the shoulder here and saying, this is good technique. Use your body testing, your muscle testing like this, or you can do it like this, where you push like this. You can do it by falling forwards, falling backwards. You can do it with a pendulum. There's lots of lots of ways, and I'm hoping to do a little video about this so that you can go onto my website and just listen to it about how you can test for this. But you can go into a store, and if you're not sure about something, or even if you're just like I use it when I'm traveling and I'm eating in a restaurant and I'm not sure if the food's okay, I just ask and I get a yes or a no. It's like, is this safe for me to eat? Yes or no. It's clear. I don't need to know what's in it. I can even do that standing outside the door of a restaurant and say, should I eat here? Yes or no. I don't need to know if it's because of the ambiance or because the food's not safe. It doesn't matter. I get a yes or a no, and I just walk on to the next one. So that's a good one for you. Yeah, I think that's all the information that you need about this, Anne Kristen. And for many of us, right? Like I get like little patches on my skin, and some of them are liver spots and things like that. But the things that are like lesions that are a bump or whatever, then this has a lot to do with it. Hi, Maria. So next question is from Angelica. Angelica says, what's the culprit in my hair loss? Also as evident in thinning eyebrows, how may I tackle this? This is an interesting one because Angelica asked me whether she needed a full reading around this. And my guide said, no, tell her to check back with you in a month. So I put it on my calendar and I checked back with her in a month. And what they said to me then was she still doesn't need a full session, but we can deal with it here. So we're dealing with it here. Lots of people suffer from hair loss. I'm not talking about, men losing hair from the top of their heads. I'm talking about when you have a patch of hair that disappears, also called alopecia. And many, many people have it. Highly related to stress, they're saying to me. So Angelica, check the stressors in your life. And a lot of the stressors, we can't make them go away, but we can change our perspective around them. And that's a really useful one. And sometimes you want a counselor to do that. Sometimes a good friend will do it. Sometimes it's a book that you can read. But anything that you can use to give you a more philosophical output or outlook. Also, you can, breathing helps. So any kind of breathing practice, any kind of meditative practice that includes breathing, and that includes singing, because singing, if you sing in a choir or you chant or anything like that, that is a singing practice. That is a breathing practice, because you can't sing like that unless you're breathing deeply. So breathing, dancing, because that makes you breathe, exercising, because that makes you breathe, walking makes you breathe. Anything that gets more oxygen into your cells is going to help you with that, with the stress factor, right? Putting stuff down before you go to sleep at night is another one that they're telling me about. So taking your worries into your dream time doesn't help you to get a restful sleep. So you want anything that will put that down. Any kind of ritual practice that you go through, whether it's a physical practice like yoga or going for a run or swimming, any of those are going to help. But you'll have it in your genes. The alopecia is there, it's in your genes, but it's exacerbated by stress. So what they're saying to you, Angelica, is one of the biggest ones that you can influence right now is the stress factor. Okay, so we'll leave you with that. We'll see how you go with that, because that's a longer term thing. You don't do that today and it's fixed tomorrow. So do that for a month or so, and then see how it's feeling. You can always check back in again. I don't mind if you come back and you say, okay, it's still there. I had alopecia. I had a patch about that size, the back of my head. It definitely was stress related. I made a different decision about what I was doing in my life because I was looking for a job at the time. And as soon as I made that decision, it started to disappear. Okay, Pepper. Pepper says, my question is, what is the best way to ground myself these days? I'm bubbling with creativity and I don't know how to slow it down. We don't often ask to slow the creativity down, but you want it to be manageable, so it's not a huge, overwhelming gush. And Camelia said that she was interested in the answer to this question, and there may be more of you who are wondering about this as well. Hi, Maria. So let's see, what am I getting here about this one? So this is another one that has to do with breath. This seems to be our breath day. They're saying if you want to slow anything down, slow down your breath. And also they're saying focus. They're giving me the word focus. And they're saying that if your brain is jumping around, because that's often what happens when we've got all this creative input coming in, that choosing one thing to focus on at a time, and if you get other ideas coming in while you're focusing on that one thing, have a piece of paper off on the side. They're showing me a blank piece of paper, and they're showing me writing the things down and coming back to them later and staying focused on the thing that you've got in front of you. If you're not sure that that's the thing you should be focusing on, and maybe all this stuff is coming in from the side because you should be focusing on something else, then use your muscle testing to ask which of these things you should be focusing on. So if you're not sure, write them down on a list and go through and say, is it this one? Is it this one? And if you get more than one, then you can say, should I do them both together? Should I do them both separately? And you can't give either or this is binary questions, right? You're going to get yes, no answers, so you can't ask either or questions. So you have to decide what your either or is and then ask yes or no to one end and yes or no to the other. When you're asking yes or no questions, I know I've said this before, but it's a really important thing to remember. When you ask questions of your intuition, your higher self, your guides, your intergalactic self, your all of that, you want to, if you don't get an answer, then you want to ask, is now the right time to ask this question? Yes or no? Is this the right question? Yes or no? Would the answer be confusing or misleading if I got it? And another one is this the right time? I don't know if I've already said that one, but anyway, is this the right time? And if you get, and that will help to guide you. And my last fail-proof one is, should I put this down right now? Should I put this down right now? And if they say yes, then I just go away and leave it. If I try asking the question again another day, if enough of these days I'm getting nothing or I'm getting put it down and leave it, then I say to my intuition, when I should pay attention to this again, please bring it back into my awareness. And it happens. Like sometimes I'll say to myself, remember to take your gloves with you when you go out. And I'll say to my guides, please remind me before I leave the house to take my gloves with me. And I'll put my hands on the doorknob and I'll see gloves in my head. It's so useful. And we think that our intuition is just for the big things of life. Or maybe we think it's just for the little things of life and not for the big things. It doesn't matter. You can use your intuition for anything. It's free. It's yours. It doesn't come with a tag on it that says only used for important things. We can do it. We can use it for anything. So, focus, and breathe. That's the two messages that I'm getting for you, Pepper and Camellia, and anybody else who's interested in this today. And it's useful to me too. I'm getting information that's helping me to figure out where I should, how do I handle all the creativity when it's coming through? Because we don't want to send it away. We want to channel it. And in fact, it can't disappear. They're saying to me, remind everybody that it can't disappear. Creativity doesn't disappear. It just it's how useful is it in the way it's coming at you, because if it comes at you too fast, you can't manage it all at once and you get all jumpy and you can't pay attention. Next question is from Denise. Denise, we finally got to your question. Am I going to be okay in my career and financially, or should I be looking at other avenues? Now, they're taking them apart. Career, one side, financial on the other side. We believe in our culture, we believe on the planet, for the most part, that what you do in the world is how you get your money, your abundance, your wealth, your financial security. Not so. Sometimes the two coincide. They don't always. So we need to be rewiring ourselves so that we're open to the possibility that abundance and wealth and security could come from another source, as well as what we do to earn a living. So sometimes it's like things that we would know more about, like an inheritance. And sometimes it's somebody gifting us something that we don't need and we can sell. Sometimes it's free rent. Sometimes it's somebody feeding us. I mean, we never know what it's going to be that translates into a form of wealth. I heard of somebody the other day was given a car, and they had to do some repairs to it, but they were given the car. Hi, Nina. They were given the car, and that would have been maybe a bigger ticket item. Or sometimes somebody gives us the ability to share their car, which if you add it up in money would come to a lot, right? So what they're saying here is, Denise, don't only think of your career and money as coming together, two sides of one coin. Then the short question is, are you going to be okay? Yes, you're going to be okay. avenues. You're on an avenue right now that is parallel to the one that you're going to be on, but you can't switch just yet because the one that you're going to switch to isn't quite strong enough to, this is the financial end, it's not quite strong enough to support you the way you need to be supported right now. So you need to run along beside it for a little while longer. Now, can they give you a time frame on this? 6 months, bearing in mind that time and space are not what we think they are, and everyone has free will and can influence that. So there's other people involved in this, and they can use their free will to change this timeline just as much as you can. But roughly, and keep checking in with your own intuition to see what's happening with the time frame. But they're telling me you're not going to be able to miss this. Like, there will be some kind of offer or something that's really obvious to you when it comes time for you to change track. But it's going to be, you're running along like this and you're going to just hop from this track to this track. And I think it's going to be fairly easy. It's not going to require that you acquire a whole bunch of new skills. It's going to be much more straightforward than that. You won't be able to miss it. And in the meantime, there, always use your in the meantimes. If you've got something and your guides are saying not yet, or I'm saying to you not yet, whoever, then use the in the meantime to do something that feels like it. Hi, Tracy. That feels like it's in flow, that it's in sync with you. And it may be that you just need some time off. Like, you might just need a breather. But do something in that breather that makes you feel good, that where your self-esteem doesn't get a chance to start spiraling like that because you're not doing exactly what you feel would be the best thing for you to do. So that's Denise. Camelia's question, because Camelia has her own question, not just the one she was piggybacking on with Pepper. I feel I'm missing something with respect to what I'm offering. Is there more? Yes, there is more. That was a quick yes. So let's see. Yes, there's more. It has to do with this idea, and I don't know I can't remember what I've said to you before, Camelia, so, excuse me if I'm repeating myself, but they're saying that there's a difference between what you can do and what you love to do that you can do. And my sense is that there's one part of what you're doing right now, feels like maybe almost half, is what you can do and can do well, but you don't love to do it. And you need to go where the loving is, because you are a heart-centered, heart-directed creature. And the love is what attracts the energy. And that, even if people are giving you good feedback about the other thing that you're doing, if you're not in love with it, then they're suggesting that you shift more of your energy into the thing that you really, really love. And they're saying don't stop doing it because people haven't found it yet. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it until you're the person that everybody thinks of when it comes to that thing, whatever that thing is. So that's what they've got for you today. I don't have a sense that this is going to be completely news to you. I have the sense that you already, this is going to validate you, is what I'm saying. All right, so that's Camelia. Crystal wants to know, with so many options on my table, where do I go from here? This is a little bit similar to some of the others. Options on your table. Yes. Again, just like with Camelia, what are the ones that make you feel aligned, happy, competent? Not just competent, but on fire. Like, what are the things that when you're doing them, time disappears, and the you get is positive, and you may have to figure out pricing. That may be something that or where you're going to do it, or where you're going to let people know about it. But you can't be letting people know about it if you're not doing it. So do it. Just do it. Do it, and you can fine-tune the rest as you go along. But do it. Do it, do it, do it is what they're saying to you, Crystal. And then where you go from there is where you get the invitations, where you get the interest. But you may have to try it in a few different places, but be doing it all the time. Be doing it. Maria, we get to Maria now. Maria says, I'd love to receive any guidance or insights with regard to 2 words. This is interesting. I haven't had this way before. 2 words which relate to 2 different things, rise and flourish. Thank you. All right, so let's see what we've got for you, Maria, around rise and flourish. So separately, yes, okay, separately, rise. There is something in your life that is, what I'm seeing is a sunrise and a sunset. And there's something in your life that's setting, and there's something else that's rising. The thing that's rising it's a glow on the horizon. It's not fully up yet where you can see it. Hi, Myrna. So they're saying you know what's rising because you asked for it. So when you've asked for something and it's coming and you know that it's coming, then just keep visualizing it. If you can't actively do it yet, then imagine yourself doing it, or do the things that are connected to it. Practice the skills that will be involved in it. Make plans for it. Figure out where the money's going to come from for it, or where you're going to put the money that comes from it, or so get actively involved even though the thing's not there yet. And then when it shows up fully, you will be so ready for it. And there's nothing, Maria, there's nothing wasted there about that. And this is true for the rest of you who are beginning to do things that are sort of on your horizon. Just do it. The just do it applies here too, right? The just do it. Now, the flourish part of this for you, Maria, is I'm seeing this. I don't know if these are your images of success, but I'm seeing a field full of flowers. And so within every flower are the seeds of the future flowers. And it's not that time of season yet, but when the flowers die back, the seeds are there for the next flowering. So what they're saying to me is that that's what flourishing is all about, that the seeds of the next thing are always in the thing that's happening right now. So even if it's cyclical, it'll come back. Inspiration comes back. Success comes back. Sometimes it needs a little dormancy, and then boom, off it goes again. So that's the flourish part. Think of it in terms of the seeds of the future flourishing are in the current flourishing. And the flower, it's not about whether the flower is going to look exactly the same. It's about the potential for the next flower is already in this one. So when you're appreciating this one, although it's finite, has a certain amount of time for its blooming, it'll come back again. So it's metaphorical. It's totally metaphorical, Maria. So treat it that way. Don't be too literal with this, and have some fun with it. And our last question today is from Monica. Monica says, I'd ask, what do I need to hear? What is coming through today to assist and empower me further in shifts, growth, and clarity I'm embracing in my personal life and as a healing practitioner? Okay, so that's a big one. So let's see what insights they have. What insights do they have for you today? I need to find it. Yeah, okay, there we go. Got it. So I'm seeing one of the pictures that you've posted quite often on your social media of you standing either on a rock or in the middle of a path or beside the ocean, or but standing on your own and standing. And they're saying that you are an independent person, and you need to stand on your own. And that doesn't mean not accepting any help from other people, but I don't see you doing things in concert with a whole big group. You might all share a space, but that's not the same as doing the work together. So I don't see you, for instance, if you were leading a workshop, I don't see you co-leading the workshop. I see you doing what you do independently. And I also see you as being independent. So I see you as having enough resources that you can remain independent. Your kids are with you now, but this time is going to go fairly quickly, and very soon, because they're also very independent, they're going to be off doing their own thing. They'll always come back to you as a touchstone to, check in with you and get advice and share their successes with you. But you're a unit with them right now for a fairly short time. And even as a unit, you're all fairly independent because you're a unit of independent people, and you all like it that way. Even though we're going through some times right now, you're going through some times, and the planet is going through some times that are pretty uncertain. So independence is a good thing for you. I see you learning things from other people, and learning, you have to try it on your own, but the learning itself, I see you doing in a group. And that's where you do like to do things in a group. So, support groups, and not because you need the support from the support group. You don't. You give a lot of support in a support group, but you need to be in there because that's where you learn. So you learn from what other people are doing, what other people have tried, and where they're learning things. So all the things that are learning related for you, you like to do in a group. So that's so they're saying, no, you've wondered, am I too independent? They're saying, no, you're not. And I think that was in your relationship, that might have been one of the criticisms that was levied, that you were either too independent or the reverse. Like there were some things slung at you in that environment, and they're saying, don't take that on. Just because somebody else says it about you doesn't mean it's true. Sometimes, and they don't even need to be malicious about it. I think that this is a lot of the time when we're trying to work out stuff for ourselves, we throw it at the people who are nearest and dearest to us and see what sticks, and we make it be about them because it's much easier to see it on the outside than on the inside. So then for each of us, if that's thrown at us, we decide what we keep, what's useful to us, and what we allow to just fall and drop at our feet. So that one, that being too independent, you can let that one drop. As long as you don't, in a learning situation, you don't want to be too independent. You don't want to have to learn everything on your own the hard way. But in the doing of it, in the execution of it in the world, independence is good. So that's what they have for you for today, Monica. And that brings us to the end of our time for today. So thank you all hugely for being here. And all of you who are coming to this in the recording, thank you for being here too, because time and space aren't what we think they are. So when you intend to watch it, when you have watched other ones after the fact, or even if you've been here present when I'm doing it, and then with other ones you couldn't, and you come back and watch them online. That it's like my guide said to me when I was writing a book. They said to me, the people who are going to be the readers of this book in the future are helping you to write it in the present. And so the same thing is true. Those of you who are watching this in the future are actually here now in the present. And so some of how I phrased this information today was directed at you as well. And you're going to be attracted to watching it if there's something in here that you need, even if it's just one thing. And of course, I always get something from doing it, because I find out things that they fall out of my mouth and I didn't know them either, especially because you guys are drawing them out with your questions. So that is very much appreciated when you come to me with your questions. And the wilder and wackier they are, like, we can always try. The worst that'll happen is they'll say, no, not that way. But if we don't ask them, we don't know, right? Nothing's too small and nothing's too big, and we'll sort. We'll find our way through. So that's our completion for today. Remember that the Truth Bomb card that I pulled today says inner attunement over outer attainment. And the inner attunement will bring you the outer attainment eventually. So that's it backwards. If you have a mirror, you can read it that way. So that's what I pulled today. That's my way of pulling in a little bit of serendipity. So I will, if any of you want to stick around, I'll just talk briefly about what I do and what I offer. Because we're going through COVID, I'm doing this free of charge, and my guides are telling me to continue doing this until the end of the year. So I will be showing up every week until the end of the year. And one of the sessions in December, I'm not sure whether it's going to be before Christmas or after Christmas. I'm going to do my year ahead channeling in place of this, and I'll do it live, and it will be recorded, and it'll then be available on my website. But I thought you guys in the Ask Lucca Live group are the ones who are most interested in hearing about this kind of thing. So I'm going to bring it to you guys. You'll be my audience, especially since I can't do it in person this year anyway. So this is as in person as we're going to get. So stay tuned for that. I'll let you know which one it's going to be so that you can be on the session if you'd like to be. I also, the only session that I'm offering at a fixed rate right now is my Ping Mini readings, which are $30 for 15 minutes, and you can book that on the booking page on my website. My website is powersorcerer.com, which is Power Sorcerer, SOURCERER. Hi, Charlene. And that, so on the booking page you can see that under readings. There are several sections on the booking page, and all the information for all of the things that I offer are spread through my website, and it's fairly easy to navigate. But I offer readings, and just like this, reading circles are quite similar to this, except they're longer and each person gets more time. And I explain more about how I do what I do. And you can host one of those, in which case you invite the people who come. You just need between 6 and 15 people for that. And we do it on Zoom, and I have the Zoom account, and we send it out. And people who come to it don't have to have a Zoom account. They can just connect for the duration of the session. So that's those are my reading circles. I do hour-long readings in addition to the 15-minute ones, which are good for a laser focus. Quick question, more like today, but with a little bit more time. But the hour-long ones, we can go much deeper. And those, on my booking page, my regular rate for that is 175 Canadian for an hour. But if that creates any kind of hardship for you, then let me know what feels all right for you, and we'll use our intuition to settle on what feels right, and then that's what I'll bill you. So it's been very straightforward so far. A number of people have done that, and some of them just a little bit less. Some people can afford to pay me the full rate, and some people can't. But that's in there as an option. So that's the readings, and then the other side of what I do is coaching people about using their own intuition in their personal life or in their work life. And those I offer it in two ways. One of them is niche coaching, so one-on-one coaching with you. And those I offer contracts for those specific time frames. And then we work within that time frame, a couple of sessions a month. You can find out more about that by booking a free exploratory session with me. And we'll actually do some work so you can try it out and see what it feels like. And then the other way that you can do it is in a group. With other like-minded people, and so I do it's similar work to what we do in the one-on-one coaching, but it's spread out with more community support. So you're doing it with buddies and with Q&A sessions, and there's more that's built in. So if you'd like to know more about that, it's on my website, but I can also do an exploratory session, free exploratory session with you about that. And I also offer exploratory sessions for a reading that's 15 minutes long, and I just explained to you how I do a reading. So if you know anybody who's interested in a reading but they've never had one before and they're a little unsure about it, or they're not sure if they can trust me, that's a great way for them to have a little taster and not have to pay anything, so also not have to risk anything. So that's all those exploratories are all they're on the booking page too. So there's a section for exploratories, there's one for readings, there's one for Power in Your Back Pocket, which is the coaching, and the group sessions, which are called Power Circles. So you can it's pretty self-explanatory. So I think that's it for today. We're done for another Saturday. I'll be back again next Saturday. If you're in the group, then in the Ask Lucca Live group, then you can invite other people to be in the group. Once I finish this, I post it on all my social media platforms. So I put it up on Facebook, on all my accounts on Facebook. I put it on Instagram. I put it on MeWe, which is a new social media platform that doesn't have algorithms for sorting what you see and what you don't. So you're in charge of what you see, which I quite like. So I'm experimenting with being on that platform. And when I remember, I put it on Twitter. And I also have a YouTube channel, which you can subscribe to. And you can reach that through the landing page on my website. So there, all of the back sessions that I've recorded are all on there. So you can go back and you can poke around and see what else you find interesting, or if you've been to most of them and there's one or two you haven't that you've missed, then you can go in and capture those. So I think that's all for today. Thank you, those of you who are left, for sticking around until the end. And if there's any more questions I can answer for you, then feel free to get in touch with me through my website. And again, that's Power Sorcerer, SOURCERER.com. And until next time, remember, you too can speak intuition.